Hey, Trevor Walsh here. I watched this clip on Tucker Carlson when he interviewed JP Sears, and I think this might be the most profound thing I've heard someone say and articulate in possibly my whole Christian life, which is about 32 years. And I mean, if you look at the world today, you look around and you look at the raw and transparent and real answer that JP Sears gives to Tucker about this situation and his feelings and everything, I can't get it out of my mind. It is profound. And it reminds me of my favorite, probably my favorite verse in the Bible, which is Romans 1:20. I mean, let's just look at Romans 1:20 really quick. It is unbelievable. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. What does that mean? That means that evidence that every person on earth knows that there is proof of a God, and there's a void in us that can only be filled by God. And that's evident by creation itself. It speaks out, and God is the one responsible for the salvation of a person's soul. It's not us. It's not a bunch of work. You can't work your way to heaven. No one can be good enough to get there on their own merits. You can't do enough mission work. You can't do enough good stuff. You can't give away enough money to do that. Nothing you can ever do, nothing I can ever do, ever will get me to heaven or keep me away from eternal judgment. It's 100% based on God taking out your heart of stone and replacing it with a heart of flesh. It's called regeneration. And it happens, and then you're born again, and you're saved. And it's profound. And without all of that information and knowledge and everything, JP just says it in normal everyday language like a child. And it is so amazing. Tell me what you think. I can't get it out of my mind. I think it's amazing.
Becoming more absorbed in your faith as you get older, or has that always been a big feature of your life?
My faith has changed. I used to be like, hey, Tucker, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious.
Yeah.
Several things have changed. I'm all those things. Like the past 2 years, Christianity has become very appealing to me. And
were you not a Christian previously?
I mean, by birth and, baptized, I was baptized Catholic. So, but no, like I would say I wouldn't call myself a Christian previously. And now the Christian values, they make a lot of sense to me. And a couple things have changed that. One, I understand now why communists disconnect people from God. And when I see...
Yeah, that's the first thing they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, kill the priests, first thing.
When I see that movement starting to happen in our country, like what the tyrants want to take away, it gets my attention. It's like, oh, there must really be something there. And then also the birth of my child, just watching him be born, it was the most religious, spiritual, God is present here. Now life makes sense. This is God unfolding himself into human incarnation. So watching my son be born woke up something new inside of me. So, and it's just weird. The more tyrannical the world gets, the more I see people, including myself, moving more and more into Christian values.
I see that everywhere.
Yeah.
You really feel that happening.
I do. And there hasn't been some convention around like, hey, everybody, like you're new to Christianity or you're a former liberal, come, let's induct. No, it's just like this natural migration of the human psyche that seems to be going towards Christian values. I don't understand it.
I don't either. One of my closest friends who's extremely aggressively secular said to me the other day, I I don't see a rational explanation for this. I think there's something spiritual going on.
Yeah.
It's like, you think that? Really? If you think that.
Yeah. And, I'll share this on that. We can look at the authoritarians, and sometimes it looks like a avalanche coming our way that we're powerless against. Like, oh my gosh, they control most of the mainstream media. They control the government right now. They control big tech, social media. They control the Federal Reserve. What can we possibly do? But what we forget sometimes is God's on our side. God is more powerful than big tech, more powerful than all of their assets combined.
Yeah.
And I think God helps people find God. And it seems, I don't know if that's an accurate explanation, but I get really curious about, is that's what's happening now? Because when humanity on the whole is connected to God, we win. Like freedom wins, humanity wins. We're not controllable. And I think we become much more, it sounds dramatic, but I think we become much more willing to die in the name of what's right when we're connected to God, because we don't fear death the same way that an indoctrinated communist fears death. Like, oh, death is this horrible end game. It's like, oh, death? That means I'll be dancing in the glories of heaven? Well, it doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, I am willing to die on my feet instead of living on my knees because I have God on my side.
Amen.